So find a comfortable position where your body can sit nice and tall, the belly can feel open, and the hips feel soft and relaxed. We'll either take the hands to the knees, you can touch pointer finger and thumb together, Yana Mudra, palms up or down, or you can bring your hands towards the navel point, focusing on the second and third chakra. Take a moment here, close the eyes, and just nice audible sigh, exhale through the mouth. That when you exhale, recognize and notice how the body just drops a few inches. Many times we notice our daily lives, that peak in which we're stressed. It's like all hell breaks loose in a sense. Everything is wrong that day and nobody says anything right. And without a heightened level of consciousness or awareness, we blame it on what is right in front of us. And so I want you to create an observation and an awareness that everything has a beginning. And equally as important, everything has an end. Just like your breath. So we'll focus on the ujjayi breath a little bit this morning. And so the ujjayi breath sometimes is also called the ocean wave breath. And when you inhale and exhale, you'll have a slight restriction in the back of the throat. And you'll be able to hear your breath a little bit more heightened than when you would normally otherwise. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. I sometimes with the ujjayi breath like to think of the throat like the chimney, and you can hear the smoke rolling up the chimney, and that's your breath, your prana. The tongue is relaxed. The face and eyes are relaxed. So there's many factors to the ujjayi breath. So why do we breathe the ujjayi breath? We can use the ujjayi breath to help channel the mind. It's like we sit to meditate, or we sit to breathe, or we sit to practice, and all of a sudden we get on our mat and the mind goes, and all this stuff. And so we struggle because we can't get the mind to literally shut up, be quiet. So the ujjayi breath has a way of, I'm going to use the word drowning out all the nonsense. The stuff in our mind that just won't stop. So as we turn up the volume on the radio, to no longer have to hear the kids bickering in the back of the car, we turn up the volume of our own ujjayi breath to clear the mind. And now the mind is an interesting aspect of the self. The ego is an interesting aspect of the self. If we're new to something like this, the mind might say, that's silly. Don't do it. Or someone might hear you if you breathe too loud. I want you to be able to hear your ujjayi breath and hear the ujjayi sound of your neighbor's breath, so that eventually we all breathe one ujjayi sound. As you continue with your ujjayi breath, one of my favorite aspects of the ujjayi sound is the fact that it replicates the sound of the womb. So it brings us back to this place of security, where everything is exactly as it should be, this ultimate contentness. I remember back as a child, and my dad would fall asleep on the couch, And that was still when you do like that point where the TV channels would just turn off and there'd just be white noise. And so I remember sometimes coming home, we're waking up and coming downstairs to him sleeping with the white noise on and thinking, how can you sleep with that on? But that same sound is the sound of the womb, where we go back to this organic state, this place where everything is exactly as it should be. So as we breathe today, I want you to, within your mind's eye, within your heart center, stay in that place, that organic place of contentment, of ease. Your body may not do everything that you want. It may never do everything that you want. But that doesn't mean you have to sabotage that organic state. Using the ujjayi breath, we'll work with a push-pull breath. I love this. It really represents kind of the elements of Tai Chi. So this kind of pushing and pulling or taking and receiving energy. And so hands will come up by the heart center. We'll stay with the ujjayi breath. On the exhalation, palms are going to face out, almost like you're going to push someone away from you. Exhale, palms push out, body rounds, chin towards the chest. Now palms turn up, fingertips curl. Inhale. Pull your breath in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So really welcome heat into the body here as you resist and push away, as you take in and receive all that you need. Exhale, push out. In Tai Chi, they call some of this pushing hands. Exhale. Breathe out. And allow your spine to get into it. So try not to be rigid. Round the spine, drop the head, push out. Inhale. How can you move organically in your own body? What does that mean? Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale, pull in. Exhale, hands to Namaste. Pause. Back to ujjayi sound, your ocean breath. And we'll just take the last minute here, breathing, sitting alert and aware, listening to that cosmic sound of the ujjayi breath. And as you breathe the ujjayi sound, just welcome in all that you need for today. What if, in fact, you turned away from all the things you no longer need in your life? And it's interesting, because those are the things we hold on to so tightly. I don't want it. I want to forget it. I want to let it go, but I can't. The mind just continually asks us to relive it. So that's where the ujjayi comes in. Clear the space of the clutter you no longer need with the ujjayi sound. So I'm just going to leave you with a funny little story. 2 people are sitting at a restaurant talking, and the one lady's going on and on about her day and everything that happened and all the woes in her life, and the other lady is breathing making a funny sound. And all of a sudden she opens her eyes and goes, what? What just happened? And the lady goes, did you hear a single thing I said? And they go, oh no, I was ujjayi breathing. So ujjayi breathe to clear the air. All right, 3 times, so lift the arms up on the inhale. So inhale, arms come up. Everything that you need to your heart center, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Pulling that line of light into your heart. Inhale. Exhale. Bow the head with gratitude for your practice. And open the eyes kindly. Awesome. We'll start in Cowface pose this morning. So find your seat. And this is where you might need something behind you to sit on. So with Cowface pose, you might find that, okay, I can make it to the floor, but I'm not very effective on the floor. So let's start in a tabletop position and cross your left leg over your right leg, so the opposite. Open your heels apart behind you and have your thighs smushed nice and tightly together. So when you cross your left leg in front of your right leg, there's no space between the knee joints, okay? So really tightly push them together. Exhale, set your hips back. Now if you watch or listen to your body shifts to the left. So it's trying to sit onto the bottom heel. I want you to push your hips to the right. So as you sit back, you're trying your best to sit between your heels, okay? So a couple things happen. If when you sit back, the top leg flies off the bottom leg, I want you to sit on something. Why? Is because you want to be able to even out your hips the best that you can so that you're trying to access both hips evenly. So even though you can sit back on the floor, because I can force you all to sit on the floor if you had to, it doesn't mean that there's necessarily value. Sometimes it's difficult to readjust once you're sitting, so come forward again, re-smush the legs, nice tight pull on the heels, and then steer your hips to the right as you set back. Nice. Now for some of us, you might find that there's not a lot of wiggle room, meaning the heels are pretty fixed at each side of the body. So I want you to sit on something else.
Man, you got me into it last time.
So settle in, so come forward again.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to sit over here.
Did this.
And then move this way. There you go. Yay!
Come back and get me.
The forklift to lift you and unwind you, right? All right. So once you find your happy spot, just notice how your hips feel. So there's an ideal and then there's what's reality. So the ideal is that we want to eventually get our hips to sit more even on the floor. Now depending on how restricted the IT bands are down the sides of the legs, also glutes.
Could you be feeling it
Oh yeah.
in here?
So lower back, outer glute, even inner groin and inner thigh. Because of that rotation with the leg bone, you're going to feel some pull through the inner groin possibly. So it's pretty much the hip is fair game, lower back, sacral area is all fair game. The more you let your body weight also tip forward a little bit, you're going to change how your body feels sitting in Cowface. So now from an upright position, let's exhale, tip your body weight forward. So this is a work in progress for some of us. It might not be available for everybody. You can use your hands on the floor to support you. You can also utilize blocks. So by bringing the blocks up, you're just raising the floor up so that your hips don't come off from whatever you're sitting on. So you can bring your hands to the mat. For some people, they just like to rest the forehead right on a block. And then allow that pressure point of the forehead to stimulate a little bit of brain work. As you come forward though, do not let the forwardness override your hips. So your hips have to stay sitting on whatever you're sitting on. So that will regulate how much you come forward. Think about a book binding. You're not going to start bending the cover in the middle to close the book. You want to hinge from the cover or a hinge from the binding. Any numbness, anything tingling, anything hot shooting or sharp is your body telling you that you need to come out. So inhale through the nose, exhale, breathe out. If you're finding you have any ankle sensitivity, there isn't a nice straight line in the ankle when we're sitting this way, you can stick a strap or a sock under one of the folds of the ankle and that will neutral out the ankle. Now use your ujjayi breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, visualize softening the tissue of your hips. Visualize space in your sacrum. What do you no longer need in your life? We have a cellular memory within our being. What are you storing within the cells of your body currently? Exhale, relax the inner thighs. Soften the sacrum. Give freedom to your breath. As we dig deeper, layer by layer, into the realm of the hips, we find ourselves at crossroads every few breaths or every few minutes. Sensation will spike and fall, spike and fall. So it's our job to pay attention to the sensation that we're having and check in and say, okay, is this physical discomfort or is this mental discomfort? Is this physical pain or is this mental pain? As you hold here in Gomukasana, pay attention that you're not reacting mentally. Meaning the mind says, oh, that hurts. Don't go any farther. Typically the restrictions of the mind will be closer to you than the restrictions of the physical body. That means your mind will say no before your body says no. Inhale deeply, exhale completely. Now you can stay right where you're at, or if you turn the torso, let's say to the left, I'm going to reach my arms to the left, or I'm going to turn my torso and reach my arms to the right, more or less. You're going to change the sensation in your body. You may turn up the ante in your side walls. You may feel more sensation in one or both hips. That being said, maybe turning sideways, one, your body's not capable of yet, or two, it doesn't really change it or really find that sweet spot. Move to enhance, not to avoid. And so when I think of my practice off the mat, how many things am I engaging in during the day to avoid something rather than to face something? So inhale through the nose and exhale, breathe. Use your breath, especially the inhalation. Try to make as much space as possible. Inhale, walk your torso back to center and slowly start to sit upright. Now as you sit upright, rock back and uncross the legs slightly. You're going to take your left leg, your top leg, and bring it into your hands. So that means your bottom leg is going to walk off to the right. So you're going to kind of bring it back almost into like an easy pose meaning cross-legged. So walk your bottom leg back kind of where it would normally belong. Take your left leg and you're going to hold on to your left ankle and your left knee, or you're going to hold on to your left ankle and knee with elbows, or with a combination of elbow and hand. Okay? I have longer arms, so I make it look really easy. So when we think about holding on, I'm going to turn sideways. We can't let the height of the leg override the whole principle of the pose. So just because I can get my leg up to my shin, or my chin and my shoulders, doesn't necessarily mean that I've achieved much of anything in my physical body. So if I've macaroni noodled my spine to lift my leg, I'd rather have you have the leg lower and keep the spine upright, which is going to bring more stretch into the hip. So use your core, nice alert spine, then start to lift the leg up and bring the leg in towards the chest. So it's like a gate. Nice. So nice little leg cradle. Let's add a little bit of motion, not to avoid but enhance. So as I rock side to side, I'm moving my knee out and back to the left and over and across to the right. Think about the movement coming from the socket rather than from the ankle or the knee. Nice. So inhale through the nose and exhale, nice little variation of pigeon. Awesome. All right, slide your right leg out in front, that's your bottom leg, and cross your left leg over the outside of the right knee. So this is where, again, I'm gonna move my blocks here. Well, a couple rules of thumb. If my body will not let me set my entire foot flat on the floor, meaning the big toe and the inner heel are on the mat versus sitting on the outer edge of the foot, I'm gonna go to the inside of the knee, okay? So it's just a different foot setup. Don't let your ego get in the way here. Sit nice and tall, sit bones stay grounded, lengthen the spine. Take your right arm and I want you to latch over your left thigh. Keeping the length of the spine, instead of spindling the arm today, I want you to use your left hand and draw the rib cage into the twist. So you're going to gently adjust that rib cage more into the twist for yourself. Hugging tightly on the bent knee, take your free hand, the left hand, set it behind the spine, at the center of the back, or off to the right hip. So think about what I just said, center of the back or to the right hip. All right, sit tall, inhale. Hug deep, exhale. So we're spinning from the bottom of our body to the top of our body, anchoring into the foot that's on the floor. So inhale, lots of length, lean a little bit of weight into your left hip, that's the bent knees hip. Exhale, feel your belly get nourished as you twist. So inhale, lungs open, body sits tall. Exhale, twist the spine. Ardha Matsyendrasana, half spinal twist. Keeping the shoulders level, maximize the rotation in the head, neck, and eyes now. Breathe. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. Notice where you're forcing and where you feel stuck. I want you to try to work the twist where you don't move. Where you already move, you're overly mobile. That doesn't need more rotation. So when you twist, does your head, neck, and shoulders twist really well, but down by your lower back, it doesn't move at all? Well, then try to move into that area, not just physically, but mentally. Let's take 3 more breaths. Heart is open, breath is willing. Inhale, unwind slowly. Exhale, bottoms of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. So adjust the hips, knees drop open. Just take a moment, rock side to side to release the hips into their sockets. And then exhale, lots of length as you come forward. Grab at the balls of the feet rather than on the toes. So that as you hold the feet, peel the feet open. And in peeling the feet open, the femur bones adjust in their hip sockets. So as you peel the feet open like a book, you're actually rotating that whole leg bone in its socket. Nice. Exhale, slowly lower down. Elbows can pin into the inner thighs, or you can reach the arms out in front for a little bit more back length. Keep the shoulders back away from the ears. Now breathe deeply into the sensation within your physical body. Let your ujjayi breath start to differentiate between forcing and allowing. Inhale through the nose. I allow ease and release in my body. Exhale. Inhale, rise back up. Knees come together, seated child. So just rest over your legs. Let's take 3 breaths. Soft in the hip sockets, heavy in the head, even and deep with your breath. Inhale, lift the head up. And let's try the opposite side. So we're going to come into tabletop. This time the right leg goes on top. So right leg swings over. Nice tight fit between the thighs. So take that extra second just to make sure the thighs have a nice tight fit like a puzzle piece. As you sit back, a couple little tricks. As you sit back, 1, steer your hips towards the top foot. 2, start pressing your top leg onto your bottom leg as you sit back. That way you keep that nice tight fit. Have something ready to sit on behind. This is one of my nightly poses, so I do this on a daily basis, and it really makes a big difference for my hips.
And when you do it, like at home, how long do you hold the face for?
I really like to try to hit a 5-minute marker. So when we think about fascia and muscle in the body, muscle 30 seconds and you've accessed it. But connective tissue, fascia, ligament, tendon, all that deeper stuff that holds the body together structurally, you're going to need that 1 to 5 minute marker just to start to get that pliability. So the longer that you hold something, again, as long as there's no numbness or tingling, you're going to start to have those deeper benefits.
Thank you.
And tighter side, you can always hold it longer too. So since you know your tighter side, I would add on another 2 to 3 minutes to that side, or as long as you feel like you can handle. Cool, awesome. All right, so even yourself out. As much proppage as you need to under your backside is fine. And just take a moment here to adjust the body. Notice any sensations. It's very typical to be gripping in the inner thighs when you're trying to release in the hips here. Good. Now exhale, tip your body weight forward. I'm going to turn sideways for a second so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. When you tip forward, the more restricted the hips are, the more the hips lift with the tip. Okay? So I want you to think about more of a priority than coming forward is pinning your hips down as you come forward. That will help you get more out of that lean because this is the area that everything is pulling from. If you think about your back muscles coming down and attaching onto your sit bone, that will give you a better visual as to where the stretch is coming from. Nice. You can either extend the arms out in front or you can prop yourself onto blocks. You can also rest your forehead onto a block. So inhale through the nose, stay with your breath. Exhale, I allow myself to release with ease. I want to encourage you that every few breaths to scan your body. Where am I currently holding on to tension? The deeper that we dig into our body, the more common we're going to see kind of this active fidgetiness, whether it's in our mind or in our physical body. We start to notice things that have nothing to do with the moment, with practice. So through awareness, it's our job to come back. And the ujjayi breath has a way of clearing the mind to assist with that process. Breathe. If at any time leaning forward is too much for you, come upright and sit vertical. As you open the body and welcome in your breath, try to make it a point to expand your breath into the hips. Breathe into your back lungs and your spine. And again, soften your inner groin. I release life with ease. The things that have bound me in the past no longer bind me today. I'm free. And as we start the delayering process within our body, which is partly what yoga is all about, this stuff starts to come up. So we think we've done the work, and then all of a sudden this stuff comes up, and it's like, I thought I dealt with that. I thought that was gone, whether that's a physical issue or a mental or emotional or a relationship or whatever, a life circumstance. And we have two options, and this is just from my own personal experience with yoga and taking it off the mat, is do we address it or do we reject it? We reject it when the ego takes over. We address it when we truly want to move forward. Breathe. take a few more rounds of breath here, and then we're gonna add that little reach for the last few rounds of breath here in Gomukhasana. As you learn to sit within the posture and within your breath, as long as there's sensation, my mantra is often, I still need this pose. Until I no longer feel anything, I need this pose. Now, if you'd like to, you can add that rotation. So whether I'm going to extend my arms over to the left, or I'm going to move my arms over to the right. Don't expect a complete symmetrical experience. You may find that you reached to the left last time, and then the left again this time. Go with the sensation rather than the symmetry. As you reach, use a little bit of your hands pushing into the floor to press your hips back into the mat. So again, create that anchoring effect. Awesome. We have about 30 seconds left here. So as you hold for these last about 5 to 6 breaths, encourage yourself to move a little bit deeper. And whenever I say that, I always want to remind you that the moving deeper isn't in the head, push, force, but rather fully nourishing the last few rounds of breath. How can I maximize my time in this pose? Now one more breath, and slowly walk yourself back to center. Stay mindful. We're not trying to run from the pose. As we come out, just be very alert as to the sensation. Rock back and either uncross the legs or grab hold of your right leg and scoot your left leg off to the left. So if you feel like that's not going to happen, come into cross-legged first, and then when your body says okay, pick up the right leg. So right leg gets picked up, whether you're holding hand in hand. You can also do what I call the fire log hold, so you can hold under the forearms, or you can do a combination of elbow and palm. Now think about the spine and the use of the core. Sit tall. You're going to rock more onto the very tips of the sit bones. Even if you're on a cushion, you're going to rock a little bit more forward. Sitting tall, shin moves up and then in towards your chest. So you're going to draw the leg up a little bit higher and then lean it in. Now as you pull the heel and the shin bone in, you're really moving from the hip socket. So you're feeling a more distinguished stretch in that socket. Good. As you sit tall, a lot of spinal work if you'd like to. Gentle rock either side to side or a turn side to side. Nice. So inhale through the nose and exhale, breathe. I'm just checking in with the sensation. Am I forcing or allowing? Nice. All right, straighten out your bottom leg and set your right leg to the outside of your left knee. Now again, you do not have to be here. You can also set the foot to the inside of the knee. So either way, I want you to be able to have a connection with that foot. This is now your anchor like tree pose. Staying grounded on both of your sit bones. Sit nice and tall. Inhale. Take your left arm and pin in your right thigh and knee. Take your right hand and assist your rib cage into the twist. So if I just open my leg for a second, I may initially take my inside rib and help it twist. Then I'm going to gently grab hold of my outside rib and assist that. Maybe you'll go back a second time and do that again. Keeping your spine as tall with every effort you have. Set then your right hand behind your spine tightly or off to the left hip. That's the hip of the straight leg. Inhale, length, shoulders even. Exhale, breathe. Feel the belly get nourished. Work your way from the bottom to the top. So I'm inhale, lengthening and starting the twist process. Exhaling, noticing where I twist and where I don't. The last rotation happens in the head, neck, and eyes. Now if you think about the scapula of the upper back, as you're twisting off to the right, the left scapula is pulling into the twist to the right, and your right scapula, that's the arm that's behind, should not be jamming into the spine. There's always a broadness to your upper back, okay? Let's go a few more breaths. Inhale, slowly unwind. Nice. Bottoms of the feet together, bound ankle. Rock side to side. Just give the hips a second to readjust. And then again, peel the feet open as you gently come forward. So depending on the willingness of your hips, you can also change that up a little bit. If you have pretty open hips, you can stick a block, like you know, it might work really well for you. The sticking a block between the feet. You can also angle the feet. So if I angle my footing and I pin it up onto a block on an angle, it's going to feel much different when I come forward. So you get a little bit extra ankle work, and you'll also get to just change the stretch in the knees. And then you can try to peel the feet apart. So depending on the willingness in your ankle and in your knees, that may or may not be a good option for you. Inhale through the nose, shoulders slide down. Exhale through the nose. I allow myself the opportunity to let go. I digest life with ease. Use your ujjayi breath to make space between your physical body and your thoughts. One of the benefits of yoga should be that separation, that when you leave, there's clarity. When you leave, what was once consuming you no longer consumes you. What was once restricted is now open. What once had no energy now is full of life. Take 2 more breaths. Inhale, rise slowly. Seated child, knees come together. Just this natural wanting to lay forward. Rest your body, hold your arms together so the legs are totally dormant and soft. Drop your head heavy, heavy, heavy. Nice stretch on the spine.